adding a privacy patio wall to my pergola. This is all open, there's no privacy. This is after and today's goal. We're going to cover this up in a unique way. If you're following along with this series, you know I've already made this pergola and then I put a clear roof on the pergola. Now we're building a privacy wall. Coming up in this episode, I'll be looking at putting in some double glazed windows, some panels, finishing off the roof and going through to see how we can make it a little bit more private, at least half of it anyway. I want some opening windows. Last time we made the pergola roof clear coated, we sealed it for weather and we put polycarbonate sheeting on top, and this is where we left off. We basically had an open area and now we need to think about how we can enclose it. So let's begin and start on today's episode where we're gonna start enclosing this pergola. So I've already laid out roughly a brick here and a little bit of block to see where I can position my 3 double glazed windows. What those will do is I can actually add curtains on the inside of those, and if we need that to be private, we can actually close the curtains. It also acts as a nice little barrier for heat as well, to keep heat in there or to keep the sun out so you don't get as hot. Now here we've got double glazed windows which have a thermal efficiency, and those will act as a nice barrier. That will be half of the wall, and the lower half we need to think about a way to actually clad that or fix that up. So let's have a quick look and a recap on what we want to do today. We want to, in this episode, get to a point where this pergola, this gazebo which we've added a clear roof on, will have windows and a closed off area. I've got 3 specific windows here which will help split up the front of this gazebo and make it look a lot more unique and nice. We've got a nice frame, it's solid. We're going to add some extra supports in there. The roof has already been done, but remember I've extended this a little bit here and I want to make it a little bit longer. So I've got some more polycarbonate sheets. I'll give you a quick glimpse of that in this episode. If you're not following along on the series, check out the last episode. You'll see a lot more of this progress and how I've done this step by step. The best way to add windows is to measure them, put them into position, screw them into a solid frame, add a bottom support, and then consider how it will open and close. So I added a solid barrier here, and I've actually gone in and put the windows spaced out equally to give a nice pleasing aesthetic. There will be a privacy element here, because if you're sitting down on a sofa or a settee inside or a seating area, then you'll only ever see your head from the window, and then obviously you'll have curtains there as well which will help out. So again, this is part of the small city house project, and this is going to be another episode to give you an update. We're on episode 3 now of this small pergola build, which has become a roofed clear pergola, and now it's become a gazebo, and now we're turning it into an enclosed private space. It may end up being a crafting room, it may end up being a seating area and a greenhouse. It's potential here. There's quite a lot of things I could do with this, and I'm bringing you along on the journey to share this with you. So again, these double glazed windows are fairly easy to set up. Let's have a quick look at how this one's worked out. So I've added a window sill in the bottom. We've got the window being supported from either end with screws which are going through the frame. We've got our goal where we can open the windows and it's all nice and level. So what will happen here is we'll actually have 3 of these. So right now I'll need to move one of those supports, the upright support next to it. I'll move that along, and this acts as an extra support for the roof now because we've got more beams holding the roof up. So with this, if you can get hold of some nice double glazed windows from well, depending on where you buy them from, if you're looking at getting them new, they can be fairly expensive. If you have friends doing renovations, you can get those old windows when they're putting new windows in. I have got a specific series coming up where I'm actually getting a lot of home equipment. So HMOs are being done in the area. I've got a couple of people who are getting in touch with me, offering me quite a lot of high sold items. I've got some double glazed windows here. I'm going to be getting some doors, and you'll be interested to see on my next series what I actually do with doors. So do stay tuned to see what you could do. Who needs pallets when you have doors? So make sure you stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel. This is episode 3 on the pergola roofed beam, and now it's going to be a greenhouse or a pergola, or what is it going to end up being? well, it's you're in the same place I am. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this space yet, so I'm bringing you along on the journey. It's an exciting one. We're building out this little space into an outdoor sunroom, greenhouse, pergola. What would you call it? Let me know in the comments what you think would be a nice name for this. So I'm positioning this in a way that actually I get quite a good amount of sun. It's a south facing garden, so that means I'll get a little bit of sun, so it won't be too hot in the summer and it won't be too cold in the winter, because the roof has polycarbonates, which is a better efficiency to keep heat in and keep cold out, as well as the double glazed windows. I'm going to be doing some further work in a future episode, which you'll be interested to see, where I do the finishing touches to the wall. So stay tuned to see how I end up finishing the wall. So I've got the 3 windows in side by side. I've put a small frame in between them just to give us a little bit of space and easy access. I've put the window panes in, so they're actually nice and easy to open and close. And remember, this section here could be a sunroom, it could be a greenhouse. I still need to finish off the roof element. So remember in the last episode I put polycarbonate roof on this. So as part of this, because we're finishing off the roof, we had to put in some new beams in there to hold the pergola roof up, the conservatory, pergola, gazebo. There's so many names you can call this. So I'm putting the beams in place to put the polycarbonate sheets in. The reason I left this here was I wanted to make sure I could fit the double glazed windows in and then find a solution for this downpipe. You'll see I mentioned in my first episode where we were getting this position ready, we didn't want downpipes of rain coming through this conservatory, this gazebo, this pergola, this sunroom. So what I ended up doing was I saved some pipes, and what I'm going to do is readjust those to go over the top of the pergola and then go into a guttering system. So right now you're catching up on this episode. You're basically seeing me finishing off the roof. I went up top, sealed the corner of this with the flashing tape and the primer paint, and that allowed me to make sure that the roof was strong enough, because if it can handle my weight, then we have made it strong enough. So continuing along, I pushed the frames out. I made sure the privacy room was truly concealed, which allowed me to easily take steps to actually make it waterproof, weather resistant and private. So what we're going to do here is, you'll see I've put some cladding on the outside of the privacy wall. I've got some doors, double doors, that I've added onto this as well to make it like an open sunroom you can easily use. I'm fitting in the noggins in the roof. Just these last few finishing touches just to make the frame solid. And you can see now the roof will expand the whole area of the sunroom. I've sealed it. I've got the polycarbonate clear roof on my pergola, which it started off as. Then it became a gazebo because we put a roof on there and a clear roof. We're at a point now where I've taken the downpipe out, and I'm going to be replacing the downpipe to go over the top as opposed to down through the middle. So that was a little bit of jiggery pokery that needed to be done, but it's nothing too complicated. I'm going to put the pipe over the top of the roof. I put 2 double doors in, which I haven't decided how I'm going to position it. And once I did the solution for the drainage, for the rainwater, I started thinking about the enclosure and how to fully make this private. So we have got double doors on this at the moment, and I thought about it, and I would probably want something to do where these doors here need to be adjusted basically. So these 2 doors, I wanted to have them, but I like the view, but there's still going to be some issues because the doors opening inwards will limit the space inside the sunroom, and I want to have greenhouse, maybe like a little shelf there with loads of plants and things that we can grow. So what we'll do is we'll adjust these doors. We're going to take the doors out. I'm going to cut them and make them work for me, because I like the idea of having windows all across the front of this, and then finish this off with a bit of cladding. So I'm going to take the doors out and then consider making these half doors, which will work very well because we've already got windows there. You'll see I've left the cladding already in place, which is overstretching the window. I'm going to go ahead and cut the bottom of the doors off and then use the glass from the doors as additional windows which don't open. So you can get creative with this and make it work for you to get the job done. So the ultimate goal here was to have this enclosed space. I've added a beam across the bottom, and then I'm going to add these half framed doors above those, which will act like a nice little consistent view because the windows will follow along this eyesight line. I'll add some additional supports on the bottom and then finish that off with some cladding or some, I'm not sure quite yet, but it'll give me a full window experience. So you'll see they've got like the 6-panel windows there, then the double glazed windows. Quick update on the greenhouse. So you'll see I've got my double glazing windows in. I've put in some cladding. Ran out of cladding, so I put some pallet wood there and painted it. How does that look? You'll see here there's a pallet, and that's what I've used. Up top, I had to do a little bit of jiggery pokery because you noticed when we did the drain pipe from the roof, we're gonna have to join on. Got my gutter ready here. And that was a quick look at the progress so far. Next time, stay tuned because now we need to start covering out the internal panels. We might add a little bit of insulation in there, covering up all the gaps, and the last little finishing touches, which on screen you'll see the next episode in this series, and I'll see you on that, where we start finishing, wrapping this up and making this privacy room insulated and ready for use in all weather conditions.